had no experience in marketing. I had no experience in business. I had no experience. And I just came in like, I have experience with people and I have experience being a human who cares.
Right. Every great leader you admire, no matter how much success they show, has something they're still working through. Today, we're not talking about the version of them you already know. We're talking about the version they don't always show. So talk to us, give us some insight on you're currently the president and CEO.
Yes. As of September 1st, okay. I am the new president and CEO of Frownies.
September 1st, 2025?
Yes.
So for those of you that don't know, today is October the 15th,
yes,
17th.
So 47 days into the role.
This podcast just got so much better. Okay.
Yeah, brand new.
Okay, so.
And, but I have been working full-time at the brand since around this time in 2020.
Okay.
And truly got started thinking, our social media is not that great. I think I can help out. Maybe I'll do some Instagram stories and just, fluff things up a little bit on Instagram. That's all I intended to do. When I was younger, my grandmother and I were very close.
Okay.
And she was the one who ran the company my whole life. And she always said like, oh, one day you're going to run the business. And I was like, heck no.
Yeah, I will not
I'm
actually.
not even going to work there,
Yeah.
But I did do like some trade shows and stuff. And I think I was probably an influencer before there were influencers. Yeah. Only because I'm the type of person that is a raving fan of whatever I love. And I have always loved the product and I've always believed in it. And I know you get great results and the proof is there. And so I could talk about it and people would be like, oh my gosh, you're going to do this one day, right? And I was like, no. They're like, but you sound so excited. It's like, yeah, that's just because that's how I am, But anyhow, taking this on in 2020, it was really in a way thrust upon me that all of a sudden I was the face of the brand. And then the truth is for me, if my face and my name is going to be on something, I'm going all in because my reputation and who I am and what I stand for and what I value and how I believe people should be treated matters deeply to me. And so the moment I became the face of the brand, in my heart, I became the CEO. I was going to treat it like, no, this is all me and this matters and I am going to put my stamp on every part of the organization. And that created some problems. So the past 5 years, while I think everything that the world saw was like, oh, yay, family business is tough and building something with meaning when there's also people behind the scenes that want to build something with monetary value.
Sure. There
can be a conflict between, no, we don't think that's going to work, and me saying, well, I'm not doing it any other way because this is what I value, even if it doesn't make as much money. And I believe in the end that when you stand by your values and you stand by what matters, you win on all fronts anyway,
That's right.
And so, there's always that struggle, I think, in generational businesses. Not many last 2 generations, let alone 5.
Right.
So here we are doing something insane. And so this past year, my mother was getting older and knowing, there's kind of inevitability to retirement and figuring out what do we do next. And I think for a long time, I'm not really a ambitious person in the sense that I need to climb a ladder and I need some kind of accolade and I won't be comfortable unless I'm the greatest of the greatest. That is not my personality at all. I really don't care. And if all of this went away tomorrow and it was just like, hey, you're done, I'd be like, okay, well, I'll go sit by the pool and read my books and hang out with my friends. I'm fine, So I don't feel like my identity is wrapped up in what I do here, even though this is what everyone else identifies me with. And I think that that's important though, because it helps at the end of the day to have you have better life balance when you don't have your entire identity wrapped up in your business. And it's like, if this doesn't succeed, then I'm a failure too.
Right.
That's not my philosophy. Yeah. But anyway, this past year, knowing that change was coming and we had to figure out what to do, we kind of explored all possibilities of like, okay, are we going to do an executive search? Are we going to sell? are we going to transition? Like, what are we going to do? And truly, I don't think until probably this summer, I had the thought in my mind, wait a minute, I want to do this. I want to be the CEO. I can do this. I think for a long time, family dynamics,
Sure.
I was kind of maybe a little bit more signaled or even directly told sometimes, you could never do this. You could never run the business. And so in my head, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never done this before. And I think it's kind of like the same way when you're a kid and you see adults and you're like, oh, those are the adults. And then you become an adult and you're like, where are the adults?
Yeah. This is being an adult.
Am I the adults in the room?
Yeah.
But anyway, with this process of the past year and just having a lot of different conversations with bankers, investors, coaches, executives, consultants, all the things, I started to kind of look around and go, wait a minute, like this is it? Like you guys are the best of the best? This is all that there is? Like there's not some like door you walk through to become the person who knows all the things so that you could be the CEO?
Yeah, you have as many questions as I do? Interesting. I thought I was coming to you for answers.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also, even in that process, facing all of these people and all of them looking at me going, you're so great. Like you're the one. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I am?
What exactly
you guys are all, hold on. Wait, what's going on here? And it made me just take a step back and I was like, you know what? Actually, I am the one. The reality is like, while all of these people have different experiences and valuable knowledge and insights, I'm smart. And after I sit down and have a conversation with them, now I know the things they know. And the thing is, they don't know any of the things that I know about this business.
Sure.
They don't have the passion for these customers. They don't have the passion for these products. They don't have the passion for this team. And the reality is, when it comes down to who should be the CEO or who should be the leader, it's not necessarily the person in the room with the most experience or even the smartest person in the room. I think it's the person who is willing to sacrifice the most for those customers and that community and that team. And that will always be me. There will never be someone else who loves this team or these customers or these people more than I do. And there will never be somebody who is more willing to sacrifice and go first in the hard things and to show up consistently every single freaking day. I think if there's one superpower I have, it's definitely consistency. And I will not stop showing up. And I will not just say, well, I don't really feel like it today. No, I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to do the thing again and again and again. And I feel like as I looked over the past 5 years, you can't find anybody else who's done that the way that I have. And so it made me go, wait a minute, like I want this.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is growing up, when we were kids, business is different now than it was when we were kids.
Sure.
So when people said like, oh, you want to be a businesswoman? When I was a kid, it was like, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go sit in a cubicle in a suit and be bored. I wanted to interact with people and I wanted to build community and I want to build people and I want to make an impact on people's lives and build connections and connect with people. And the truth is that's actually what good business is building connections, solving people's problems, being something more and doing something that matters. And if you can do that, then you're going to be successful in business or whatever you're doing. And so I think I just didn't realize that good business actually has a lot of meaning to it. And so this journey, I guess you could say, that I've been on really just showed me a different perspective. And I guess it also opened my eyes to the fact that I don't have to do this the way everyone else has always done it in order to be successful with it. And I think that's my whole story, even at Frownies. I had no experience in marketing. I had no experience in business. I had no experience. And I just came in like, I have experience with people and I have experience being a human who cares.
That's right.
And I came in and did that. And I just did it the way I do it. And it worked.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the thing that either you found or maybe you've always had that you could identify that has given you that mentality of even though I don't have the experience that I'm told you're supposed to have, doesn't mean that I can't go and experience it in order to be able to learn it. Like, is that something you feel like you've always had? Or is that something you feel like you had discovered somewhere along the way? As it relates to you as a person, less president, CEO.
I think for me as a person, I've always believed in myself. And I've always believed in my...
Can you define believe in myself? What does that mean to you?
I've always known that if there's something I needed to figure out or something I needed to learn, I could.
You've always had the belief that you are capable.
I'm capable. And I had confidence in my ability to figure it out. And I think that because I think I proved that to myself, again, because of my track record of being consistent and being disciplined about showing up. I know that in anything you pursue in life, you start out as a beginner and you show up enough times and you start learning. Like that's what practice is. Like everything in your entire childhood. You couldn't walk, then you did. You couldn't ride a bike, and then you did. You didn't know how to swim, you keep on practicing, and then you do. Like it's just the story of our lives if we look back at it and we allow ourselves to acknowledge, I didn't know how to do that. And then I figured it out, and now I'm doing it.
What do you think prevents people from being able to find that perspective on a regular basis? Because I think I 100% agree with you. And I sort of feel like I operate very similarly to you. We were joking before we started, like I don't have a resume. I've never had a real job. I've never worked in corporate. And 95% of my time is in the corporate business space, coaching leaders, speaking at leadership conferences. People ask me all the time, oh, so before you were a speaker, like, what did you do? And I was like, I was a photographer. I worked at a summer camp.
Right.
I was a pastor for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always just been in the people business.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought I wanted to do something, so I tried it. Yeah. So I think I feel in my bones what you're saying, because I think that's sort of how I now will gather and sort of make an assumption how you and I sort of, I'm going to use the word survived, but it doesn't have to be as dramatic as it, unless it needs to be. But like that's how we made our way in the world, was to go, we're going to give it a shot. And we believe that we are capable of at least trying. I find that is not how the average person operates. And I say average, meaning the majority of people operate. Why do you think that is?
Well, so unfortunately, I think that most people's inner voice is an inner critic and is very negative. And, I was a school teacher prior to all this, prior to having kids, and I'm a parent now. And one of my core values as a parent, or one of the things I want to instill in my kids most of all, is confidence. I think our brains tend towards negative thinking, right? Like that's 100%. Just scientific studies show that. And I think a lot of parents already live in this insecure, negative space, and then they have kids. And whether they're negative towards their kids or not, I mean, some are, right? But then even if you're positive towards your children, but you're being negative towards yourself all the time, you're constantly criticizing yourself. A lot of women, it's like, oh, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I look terrible. It's just like everybody's always saying negative things about themselves. And even when you go out into culture and society, you see, even for me, you see somebody, I'm talking to somebody online and I ask them to send a picture so I can give them recommendations. They're like, so sorry, this picture's so horrible, I look terrible today. And I'm like, you don't. And there's no need to say that. That's right. It's fine. And I think one thing that I'm very grateful for to my parents, and specifically even to my mom, because I think it's like an epidemic amongst women to just talk terrible about yourself.
I agree.
I never heard her say a negative thing about herself ever. She was never talking about being on a diet. She was never saying anything negative about how she looked or her capabilities. In fact, I always constantly heard her saying things like, well, I can do this. I can do anything. And, and I'm so great. And I'm so, it's very positive belief in herself all the time. And I think as a child, being around adults that are speaking positively and speaking with confidence and showing this example of you can do anything you set your mind to, and not just telling you that you can, but they're doing it too. And they're saying it and they're showing you that it's real, because it's this real. The reality is our kids aren't really listening to us.
No, they're only watching.
They're watching. 100%. And I think that that made a huge impact on who I am. And I've never been somebody who was negative and down on myself and said, and I think our brains are wired to live in congruence with what we believe.
Right.
And so if you're constantly saying these things of like, I can't do this, I suck, I'm awful, or oh, I mess up again, whatever.
Yeah.
You're
going
to.
You're looking for the next time to mess up.
Right. And then your brain's making that true for you. And then it's just this cycle.
Yeah.
But I think the opposite is true, creating this discipline of speaking in a way that's life-giving and belief and what's truth and what's real. And then you start, your brain looks for like examples that, yeah, you can. Look at that. You figured that out. Good job. And you build more confidence, and then you do it again and you do it again. And so it can be a positive loop as well.
Yep.
And so I think that that's been my like life practice without knowing it. And now in a more intentional way, because I see the power in that. Right. And then I have my kids watching me too.
Yep.
And so I want even more to not just tell them to be confident. I want to show them what confidence looks like.
Right.
So it's like raise the standard for me to make sure I show up like that for myself.
Yeah, I love that so much. We have a method we call it the confidence method because we're very simple around here. We call it the confidence method, but I am always deeply encouraged when I hear somebody who doesn't know me say something. And like you basically, you just laid out like the first 50% of a keynote that we offer called The Imposter Within.
Okay.
Because the way that you just laid the parts out about, we say there's stories told to us.
Yes.
And there's stories we tell ourselves. And a collision of those two stories typically creates belief. And we say, look, creates lowercase t truth. It doesn't mean it's true, but we tend to believe it's true. And so verbatim to what you were saying, which means, like, shout out team, we're onto something of that. When we are unaware of the stories told to us about us, and we're unaware of the impact, they have a massive effect on how we show up on a regular basis. And I think one thing that I would hope as individuals, we sort of have the ability to sort of take a pause and look at, and you did this very, very eloquently from a positive perspective, which again is crazy rare, that I often find the stories told to us about us, and this is through words and actions, so the things people say to us or the things that we know our children are watching, are almost always a greater representation of the storyteller than they are the main character of the story. Yet I find there's majority of people are living their life based on a story somebody else told them about them, even though that story has nothing to do with them.
Right.
Right? Like I've been told my whole life, like, Rocky, you're too intense. Rocky, you're too much. Rocky, calm down. Rocky, you're too emotional. Rocky, you're too vulnerable. One day I'm too vulnerable. One day I'm too intense. One day, which one is it?
Right.
But I think what I'm learning is that they're right. I am intense. I am emotional. There was a portion of the story they told that was true.
Right.
What wasn't true is to take it to the extreme of being always, never, too, so, such that it was used, to your point, to be a negative thing, to where it was detrimental rather than it being edifying, rather than it being something that's being built up.
Well, and I think that I have to say, I live and I've just always been this way. I don't know why, and I'm grateful that I am, but I live from a place of gratitude daily. And I'm very aware that who I am and where I'm at mentally, and this, everything that I just said, like how I got here, I'm just like, man, I'm so grateful because I really believe that I've been so fortunate my entire life to be surrounded by people, adults, coaches, teachers, parents, relatives, grandparents, who reinforce that positive story, who reinforce this, you're amazing, you can do anything, you're so smart, you're so capable, you're so talented, you're so great. I don't think a lot of people had that I did. And so I hold that with a lot of gratitude. And then I also hold it with a lot of responsibility. And I think this is what has led to a lot of my success within Frownies and with everything that I've done, is because I have my biggest passion and desire is to take this, what I have, and help other people to find that for themselves. I'm like constantly wanting to help other women, like, see how beautiful they are, see how capable they are, other people to understand and to know how amazing they are. I love to encourage people. I love to speak life into people. I love to go to people who you can see that they think they just, they
That's right.
suck.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, you don't. Look at this and this and this, and start to shift their vision to all the other parts of themselves that really is who they are, because the stories they were told or the people they were surrounded with were not the ones that I was 100%. Fortunate enough. And I just feel that like, to whom much is given, much is required kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so taking that into everything that I do has really helped me to be successful and to help more people. And I know that mindset that I have is rare, and I don't count that as something to my credit.
Right.
I really feel like it's a gift that I was given to have the experiences that I've had and to be where I am. And I want to help other people get there too.
So 45 days in to the presidency, if you will. It sounds better. So 45 days in, take everything that you've said thus far in the aspects of who you are, how you operate, your deep care for people. You know, I had this thought when you were talking just now, like Frownies is just the medium. That's not the mission.
Yeah, right.
That's just the mechanism, right? Like it's just a mechanism to give us a chance to have deep, meaningful conversations with other people about who they really are and what makes them valuable. So I'm ordering Frownies today. And the link will be in the bio. So, but I think in the first 47 days, what has been an obstacle or obstacles that you feel like you are seeing that maybe you can see, but we haven't addressed, or we can see, but it's not time, or maybe we're sort of preemptively thinking this is coming around the corner. I would love to talk through some of those things.
Well, one of the biggest challenges that is maybe unique to me, and I guess people would kind of call me an entrepreneur. I never saw myself that way, but most entrepreneurs or people who start a business, they are the founder. And so they build from the ground up what the organization is going to look like. They lay the foundation and they build from there. I am in a different situation. And in fact, our pastor at our church, he has this whole thing that he talks about, and he has coined it re-leading. So like, I'm not just the leader, I am re-leading people who were built, a thing that was built on a different foundation. And I think coming into a situation and having to take a foundation that I didn't build that may have some components that I wouldn't build and I wouldn't do it like that. And I have to kind of go back to the ground floor, even though we're 130 plus years old. And, you know, some of the people that work at Frownies now have worked there for 22 years. And I have to kind of dig down underneath the bedrock of all of it and reset a new foundation for some people. You know, I have my team that I built, and we've got our little culture or subculture within the overarching organization. But there's a lot of people where it's like, hey, there's some habits and there's some ways of doing things, and there's some practices that are like the unquestionable that I'm like, no, we need to question the unquestionable. We need to pause when we see ourselves acting in a way that's like, that's not the way we're going to be around here. But that was the old culture. So it's like relearning, re-educating, and digging into some habits and trauma responses, whatever it is from prior stuff, right? Because I didn't start this from scratch, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if it's because maybe we find ourselves, we being, you know, I'm making the assumption we're in general the same age and life stage and so on. Our kids are about the same age, so we'll trust that we're somewhere close. I don't know if it's because maybe like we're now the ones who are stepping into those spaces. So I just feel like I'm having this conversation. Maybe the leaders I work with are all relatively in the same life stage as well. So I feel like it's like dialogue I've had for the last 3 to 4 months, like every other day. But this idea that in order for us to help people change, we have to stop telling the story about who we used to be and find a way to tell the story about who we're becoming.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's I like alliteration, and I like rhyming. And but I always joke that like in an organization, in a home, in a family, culture is not what you pontificate; it's what you tolerate. And I don't mean tolerate like bad behavior.
No,
I mean tolerate like level of excellence. And so I think when I hear you say like, there's some things we sort of got to go. I love the analogy. Like we got to sort of go to the bedrock and go, hey, we got to talk about the practices by which we have been operating. This is not a conversation that we are saying we have bad people.
Right.
We just have maybe some practices that we're no longer going to tolerate because we have a new level of tolerance for the level of excellence that we're going to have. And therefore, our culture is not going to be the story about who we used to be. The culture is going to be the story about who we're becoming.
Right.
And what do you find as a difficult component when it comes to helping tenured, whether that's staff or just a brand in general? What is an obstacle you find when it comes to helping people talk about who we're becoming rather than who we used to be?
Well, I think one of the big things is it's easy. And I think probably some of the prior culture was always a little bit of like, the house is on fire, like work in this reactive kind of a way. And I think, you've probably heard and it's not an analogy, but like the principle of like the 4 quadrants where you're like urgent and important, urgent and unimportant, important, not urgent, not important, not urgent, right? And I feel like we lived in one of those quadrants. That was just the function was like always like urgent and
no matter what, it was urgent.
Yeah. And I am not like that. And so it's like with a lot of people, in the immediate, like every day in business, there's something that comes up. It's like, oh gosh, we got this happened or that happened. Like that's just normal.
Right.
Our Amazon listing went down. Oh, our social media account, this happened. Oh, this ad did this. Like that's just normal. Oh, we got this big bill or, oh, these things aren't going to come in on time. It's normal.
Right. Welcome to being alive.
Right? Like totally normal. Yeah. And so I'm having to teach people, hey, we're not going to freak out because that doesn't do anything. That doesn't get the job done faster. More drama and more emotion over what's normal isn't going to help. In fact, it's going to slow us down. And then there's also, but in the past, if we didn't freak out and we didn't, react right away, maybe we also got in trouble. And so now I'm like, first of all, we're not going to react and we're not going to act so fast. And second of all, you're safe. So take a deep breath and it's going to be okay. So I think rebuilding trust with people and showing people they can trust me when I say that. Like, thanks for letting me know. And
we'll be
great.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Do you find, not everybody likes this word, but I do. Do you find that what they're actually looking for is for someone to grant them permission?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then even in that, they're tiptoeing out onto the ice, if you will, of like, okay, you said it was okay. I'm going to try it and I feel nervous. And then it's like, oh, the ice didn't crack. Okay. And I've heard a lot of people say like with every passing day, they feel more and more like, oh, okay, like that went well. So it's like little by little, because change takes time.
Sure.
People can't just go tell people, hey, this is how it is now.
Right.
You have to give them time and you have to let them build that trust and slowly start to feel safe and do things a new way. And even I think brain patterns are regularly traveled and they have to start traveling a new pathway and rewire. And they're going to have to keep doing that a couple of times to start to build a path for that to where it doesn't feel so strange. Because I think the second nature is just whatever you're used to doing.
Right.
And so when you want to make that change, it's got to be a lot more intentional action and intentional reactions, and intentional thought. And the good news is I feel like this has been the change everybody needed for a while. And so we're seeing quick change, which is good. And we're seeing people really start to I don't know, blossom, if you will, into like, okay, this is great. Like, I really like this. This feels good. And, so that's been really positive. But yeah, it's just, I think as time goes by, there will continuously be more things that kind of come up that are like, oh, well, that's the way we used to do it, but we're going to question everything. And maybe we'll do something different now, so. But I think that that's necessary, whether you have new leadership come in or not. I think businesses, organizations, at some point you kind of hit a ceiling.
Right.
Whether it's things are just getting stale and it's just not, the vibe's not there anymore. Or it's like, well, the way we did it got us here, but what got us here won't get us there. So now you do have to overhaul things every so often, every so many years. It's like, my husband and I have been responsible for all of our meta advertising over the past 5 years. When we first came in, and anybody who's listening to this that's an advertiser will know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, sorry, just example. But when we first started in 2020, iOS 14 came out. And for the marketers of the world who'd been doing this for a long time, that was like a huge disrupt, because now your attribution and your targeting and things on ads like totally changed overnight. My husband and I hadn't been doing this. And so it didn't matter. For us, it was like, I don't even know how it used to be. All I know is what it is. So we just kind of moved forward. Well, everyone had to make this big shift and this big adjustment. Well, now on Meta, there's this whole new shift again with the rise of AI and all the things. They have this whole new Andromeda is this thing. And it just went into effect at the end of July. And it's like a completely different paradigm of how you're going to look at your advertising platforms. And everybody's kind of freaking out. And there's all these glitches and it's this big thing. But it's like, well, this is what happens in the world. Every so many years, there's new technology, there's new ideas, there's new ways of doing things. And you have to be okay to adjust. It's like, that's what having a growth mindset's all about. It's like, you will never be like, great, I got it. I figured it out and I'm just going to only do this forever.
That's right.
You'll become irrelevant.
That's right.
And so whether I was to come in and do this or not, it was time. Like we had kind of hit a ceiling in our growth. And so even now we're going, okay, we've hit a ceiling. What else are we going to do? How are we going to continue to grow? Because healthy things grow or they die. So it's not okay to be like, well, we're really happy with our business. We're really happy with our profit. We're really happy. We'll just do this. You can never just status quo.
You won't do that for very long.
No, nothing works like that.
That's right. As a new leader of Frownies, what is one thing about you that you hope in the next 6 to 12 months as a leader is seen, but you feel like often gets missed?
That's a really great question, because I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't know if anybody misses anything and I don't hide it. So, but I think the thing that I probably hope is seen, and I think it's missed only because it might not be the nature that other people operate out of. And it's something that's very important to me to lead my leaders in. And that is truly, authentically valuing and loving people. Because I'm not just saying like, oh yeah, we value people. Oh yeah, one of our core values is we show care. I'm like, care for our customers, care for our team. That is not a just show care. To me, it is feel care. It is embody care, actually care. Because I think a lot of people in business and in the corporate workplace, you show care. That's the polite thing to do. The core value is not, we are polite to each other.
Polite and care are not synonymous.
No. And I think for me, I want people to understand that this is, when I say we love people, we care for people, I mean like deep in your soul. When someone on your team or someone you are the boss of is not living up to the expectation, or they are not, doing the best that they can do, or whatever it is, it's easy as a boss to be frustrated. But to me, I take that, it's my responsibility. If my members on my team are struggling and they're not living up to something, I care deeply. And my first response is, how as a leader have I not painted the picture for them? What is going on in their life that maybe I don't know about? Because I know that I believe, and I'm starting with the premise of, their heart is good towards me.
That's right.
And their heart is good towards this organization. Because really, nobody that I'm going to hire comes to the organization like, this place sucks.
And I would even say, I don't think most people wake up on a daily basis with the intent for malice.
Harm. No. And if they do, it's only because they've been harmed so deeply.
Right. And if they do, it's typically really obvious.
It's
not nuanced.
So if somebody seems off or they're just like being a punk or whatever it is, I'm like, hey, we as leaders of these people, we care. Like what's going on in her life? Not, I'm frustrated. What's her problem? No. What is going on in her life? And how as a leader can I take responsibility and go first and say, how can I meet her where she is? How can I develop her? How can I coach her up to where I need her to be? Not because of some manipulative, like, I want this.
Right.
No, but because at the end of the day, I care about the people on my team. And if any of them leaves tomorrow, I want them to leave better. I want to leave them better than I found them. I want them to leave better. I want them to go to the next opportunity and it be better than what they have here. I want them to take things. I want them to have been developed into somebody that whether they leave and they become full-time moms or they leave and they go to some other business pursuit or whatever they do, I want them to leave here and go, I am who I am because Helen was my leader. Even if I depart, and if somebody gets a better opportunity than what I can offer them, I want them to take it.
Yeah, please go.
Because I care about them first. I don't care about the business first.
Yeah.
And I will never.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that's the best way to care about the business. Because if you build people, your business will be built.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I don't know. So I think to answer your question, the thing that I hope people understand is this is not a nice core value we hang on the wall, but it is who I am and it's who I want us to be. And I hope that they see that and they know that about me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the stories they bring to the table are like, well, no,
Right.
That couldn't possibly be true. And I'm like, no, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to our phrase you mentioned earlier of if culture is what we tolerate, then care is not an emotion that we pretend to feel for someone. Care is an action that we take on a daily basis to help build other people up.
And I know that sounds like a big ask to be like, how do I make my people feel like they care about others? But to be honest, I think that the more you serve someone, the more your love for them grows. And I think leadership is about service. And it's like, you think about when you have a baby, you have this newborn thing. Like, why do you love it so much? Because you literally just sacrificed your body for 10 months to grow it. And now you're waking up in the middle of the night, hour after hour. You're like doing all of this for this baby and your love just grows more and more and more. And it's like, why? Because service builds that love. Like you're pouring your soul into the thing and that grows your love. So it's like, if you don't feel like you like someone very much, start serving them.
Yeah.
Start, laying your life down for them in a way and that love will grow.
Yeah. How will you know in 12 months from today that you as a leader are doing the things for the organization that you set out to do? What will be your measure?
Well, I'm talking a lot about people, and that's what matters most to me. But at the same time, too, I do have a responsibility to the business. Sure. So I feel like there's two components. One, I think that the health of the people and the watching the way that they react to things, seeing who they become will be one measure. And then the other will be, as a result, also seeing what the organization becomes and seeing what kind of growth and what kind of doors open for the organization and the business. Because I think that we're at a place where we do need to we need to take some big risks and we need to try some new things we've never tried before. And in order to do that, people do have to feel safe enough to do it.
Right. They got to be safe enough.
They have to feel like, okay, we're going to try this. Yeah. And I have to feel okay, like I'm not going to get in trouble if we try and we fail.
That's right.
And I think, like it's okay. You're safe. Like fail fast.
That's right.
Do it. So I think watching the people and their ability to innovate faster, try things faster, take risks faster, even put ideas on the table faster, speak up more. All of that is a component. And then I think we'll see the reaction and kind of the chain reaction into the health of like the business and growth in that way too.
Right. You said something when we very first started. You said, I don't know that like, these are your words, paraphrased. You said, I don't know that like I would say like I'm a very like ambitious person. So what would you say you are? If not ambitious, what word would you use?
I definitely am a person of excellence because my worth isn't connected to my achievements.
Yeah.
But anything that I'm going to do it well. I'm going to do it with all my heart. So it doesn't matter to me like the accolades and the success and the money and the fame. But like I said, even if this all went away tomorrow, I'm still going to be doing stuff, but I'll be just investing into whatever relationships or people or whatever. And it's not for the
performance. You're not performing for the sake
the accolades
of results.
It's because I believe you should be the best you can be. Like do everything with excellence and with your whole heart. Yeah. Like this is your one life. Like live life to the full kind of a thing.
Yeah. You're not.
I don't know what the right one word is. I don't even know if excellence is it, but it's just wholehearted. That's what I am. That's what I'm not an achiever. But I am a person who wants to live wholeheartedly, like put my whole self in.
You're not an achiever for the purpose of achievement in and of itself.
No.
But living a life with your whole heart inevitably will allow you to achieve something significant.
Yeah.
And you hope to be a leader in the next year as now new CEO and president of Frownies. You hope to be a leader who is measured by their capacity to show up daily, living and leading with their whole heart.
Yes.
Not solely by the performance KPI that the traditional model is measured after.
Yeah.
Not because those measurements are not important. Those measurements are not necessarily the sole leading indicator for whether or not you are or are not becoming who it is you said you want to become.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really awesome. If there was one thing that you hoped your now new team, and only new because you're now their new leader, you're now their new leader.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that you hoped that they would remember on a daily basis, what would that be?
I would hope that they know that they're loved. Really. I mean, that's so basic, but it matters to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think oftentimes when we feel loved, we tend to grant ourselves permission.
Yeah.
To try.
You'll always do better work when you know that you're loved. You'll always show up better in the world when you know that you're loved. You'll always give more to someone you know loves you. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I am very excited about your new leadership journey at Frownies. And I am grateful for you joining me today. And I want you to know, as somebody who only met you today, that I feel very, very refreshed and invigorated, and I think excited about if I try to go expand out, and I'm going to at whatever the biggest level that you and I could imagine. If this is what the next phase of leadership looks like in the world, I think we're going to have a pretty good decade. We're a pretty good.
And I feel like it's what we need in the world.
I want to encourage you in, as a person who talks just like you, to talk to lots and lots of people. This is not to try to fluff you up or make you feel good. As similarly to you, I feel like it would be amiss if I didn't say the things that I see in the same way that you try to do for everybody else. And so, I agree that you are not an ambitious person for the sake of ambition. I agree that your desire and care for people far supersedes their capacity to perform, but their ability to be reminded that who they are is valuable. I talk to thousands of leaders on a regular basis who do not think how you think and do not have the ability to see themselves in a way that I heard you describe the way that you see yourself. In the previous guest we had, I had a mentor of mine tell me once that talking about life and legacy and creating change, and he gave me this phrase. And so he said, if not because, if you show up for yourself daily and care for the people that you really love, they will inevitably A, B, C, and D, not because you told them to, only if you're willing to do it yourself. And so from somebody who's on the outside who doesn't know you, but also has now known you for 46 minutes and talks to lots and lots of leaders, I want to encourage you to please keep doing what you're doing. I think the impact of it will not only yield great results financially and from a business perspective, but there will be people's lives who are changed because you've chosen to take a medium as an avenue to show worth and value to people who may not feel that themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah. So keep going.
Thank you.
I so appreciate you being with us on the show today.
Awesome.
Yeah. And if you find yourself in a position where you're thinking, hey, I want some of that, whatever it is that Helen has and she's offering, I want some of that. I would love to invite you. One, please check out Frownies. You can find them on all social platforms. We'll have them linked down below. And if you are at a place that you're looking to grow and you want to see what that is, I would love for you. You can go to rockygarza.com/confidence. Check out our monthly leadership workshop that we're doing this month. We'd love to have you there. And so appreciate you joining us for the show today.
Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Don't forget to join us this month for our leadership training. You can register you and your team at rockygarza.com/confidence.